I'm going to start to draw again as I did before the house. I'm going to draw, but this time what I'm doing is I'm using very light, the light, remember the lightest thing that we drew. So you want to kind of refer back to maybe up here where obviously I'm not going to draw white, but I'm going to draw using this area. So I'm going to draw a rectangular box. I'm drawing it actually so light that it might be hard to see on the computer like this. So I drew a rectangular box, and then some houses have kind of a porch where it goes here, or maybe it's an apartment building. If it was an apartment building, maybe it's a larger building, maybe it's a tall. Buildings are often kind of rectangular shape. Maybe it's a tall building, or maybe it's a kind of a fat. If it's for an apartment that has different apartment buildings are typically larger than houses. Excuse me. So we'll have a porch here where it goes up. Maybe there's stairs. Maybe there's a front door. I'm drawing all this very, very light, and there may be a window here for a house. The window might have a roof on it. What we're doing here is I'm drawing something from an actual house, and it's not that different from the one that I drew before. There may be a small window here. But what I'm doing is I'm drawing very lightly, and I'm drawing actually more details than before. So these are stairs that come up to the house. And there was a pathway that led to those stairs. So I have here, I hope that you're able to see this. Maybe I'll make it a little bit darker. So I have a roof that's shaped like a trapezoid. And then I came down. It was a rectangular shape. There was a window here, and there was a kind of a roof that went over this window. There was a second floor. There was a window above here, and there were some windows. There was a front door. The door had a roof over it as well. So I've also drawn this kind of quickly. This is from looking at an actual house. These stairs kind of. The whole idea of this is to begin drawing lightly and give yourself room to kind of be able to make changes. It's a lot, as we said before, it's a lot easier to erase when you've drawn lightly. And it's easier also to draw, you can draw over what you drew. So this house, a lot of houses they're made out of bricks. So I can draw some bricks. What I might do is draw some bricks, but not all. I'm not going to draw all bricks. I might draw some bricks. So I see actually there's ground that came up to here on the house. So I'm going to draw ground here. And there was a bush right here. So the bush, I'm going to fill up with tiny, we did bubbles. Or is the bush more squigglies? I don't know. Let's try both. And so basically what you want to do is think about your own house or apartment, and then look at it. You can just draw from your mind, actually, or look at a picture, or look at a picture of another house. And what you want to actually, what's very important to think about is to start drawing lightly, and then and then as you add more, and then draw more on it. Like obviously, if you draw a house that comes out, when you draw a house at first like this. That house is drawn very quickly. So when you spend more time with it, you can begin to put more details on it. But you want to draw light. And then So I drew some bricks on it, but not all. A roof has usually a lot of times it's made out of things that look kind of like rectangles, but you might want to draw something like that and speed up as fast as you're drawing, and then make some rectangles and then make just some kind of marks. And then you want to think about drawing now, as we did with your letters. Think of things that are on the bottom and draw those darker. A porch rail, porches. Maybe has a little bit of fence here. So as you can see, I started kind of drawing a little bit. I started drawing darker. So for the house, and I have some colored pencils here. I just grabbed a few. I tried to get like a variety of colors. So for the house color, I'm going to use kind of this brown color that I have. And what I'll do is it's kind of a purpley brown. I'll go ahead and draw on the roof and do a little bit of hatching over the roof, give the roof some color, but I'm not coloring in the roof solid. I drew under this. I'm gonna draw this porch to be the same color as the roof, since I already have this in my hand. That was a little bit of it had kind of like a railing. Maybe fill that in a little bit. And these stairs, which were kind of like rectangles that came down, rectangular shapes for the stairs. There was a pathway. We're going to go back to the regular pencil. There was a pathway that came down here. The bushes, I'll add a little bit of green. There was a bush here. The green, and then I'm using those kind of squiggly marks that we made before to make the bush. And I'm going to make the bush darker towards the bottom of it. And there were some bushes here as well, like a hedge. And I went ahead and I colored that and I made it darker towards the bottom. And I used these for that. And I have this, I saw this pencil here, it's kind of a yellow. I'll make this like a yellow orange. I'll make the sides of the house like this. Oops, I accidentally colored over the window a little bit. I'll use this the same kind of dark reddish, kind of a brownish red. I'll draw some of the windows back in. These were the windows. The windows. Here, window on the second floor, make an outline on the house. I'll go ahead and make the door dark here. So basically, you want to have be practicing and using darker amounts and lighter amounts. That will give kind of more like of a three-dimensional appearance to what the things that you draw, whatever it is you draw, whether it's a house or an animal or a plant like a flower, or maybe just drawing a design like your name. The ability to have light and different amounts of light and dark help make it that will make it more three-dimensional. So I'm actually gonna draw a little bit of the side of the house here. So just have that. So I'm kind of making it. Sometimes windows have a little bit of a like a area underneath, like a ledge. I'm making that dark. Um, these roofs, I kind of colored over some of the. They have shingles on top. When you think about houses, there's different things that go on top of the roof to create it so it's waterproof, so the rain and so there's different things that are kind of rectangular on buildings. The things on the roof, the shingles that go on the roof are kind of rectangular. You can, once you do something, you kind of create where you can speed it up, where you can do it faster. So after you do something the first time, you can do it faster. And then maybe go ahead and draw some bricks in. Okay, keep drawing on your house, and you're going to draw a really amazing house. The more time you spend on it, the more shading, it's going to be really amazing. The house. Okay, great, excellent. And here's a comparison. The first house that we drew, and then a second house, which was basically involves just spending more time on it, having more amounts of detail and more amounts of light and dark. Also, there's some color on that. So we'll go ahead and kind of quickly go through and do a tree and an animal and a flower. For a tree, so here, if we have our tree from before, which is, these are, the tree and the flower, these are kind of like symbols as well as the house. A symbol is a simplified version of the thing, of the tree that everybody recognizes. So pretty much everybody recognizes this as a house and a flower, and this is a tree. I mean, it could be like a ball of cotton on a stick, who knows, but this is supposed to be a tree. Most people will recognize that. So for a tree, what we're going to do is elaborate, expand upon our symbol, and draw using light and dark and more detail and color as well, and that'll make it look more real, more realistic. The same thing as I said before, it's a good idea. Go ahead and look at a tree out the window, or look at a picture of a tree, or think about a tree that you may have seen in your life that you really like. Obviously, there's I don't know if there's millions of types of trees, but there are definitely many, many, many different types of trees that they look different. Trees do have a trunk that comes up, and then they have. So begin drawing and remember the notion of drawing very light to start with. Refer back to your practice sheet that you drew of having different amounts of lightness and darkness, as well as different marks, hatching, cross hatching, squiggles, different textures. As well as you could also think about how you made something look three-dimensional by making it darker on the bottom and using dark, medium, and very light types of shading. So when you draw a tree, come up and obviously, as our tree before, there typically is not one single trunk. It comes up and it branches out. So go ahead and draw some branching out. It does help to look at a tree, but you don't have to, a real tree or a picture, but you don't have to copy that exactly. You can look at that as an idea.